be. You know, having Lyn-Dee on today is kind of like having seconds on dessert. She was just a very fabulous, popular guest in July, so I've asked her back on to play with me again. Today we're going to talk a little bit about having a rather disturbing trend that I've been noticing. One of the things I like to keep track of is trends. I see patterns and trends in almost everything. I don't do a whole lot with a lot of them, but you know, it's one of those things that there's that. So, but one of those trends that I've noticed is among speakers and business people and so-called gurus that are often telling you how much money they've made and how they've made it coming from nowhere and all that. And you can too if you just buy their products or attend their workshops, and yet obviously slant everything towards pushing you into a quick fix sale. Well, in the interest of ethical authenticity, I advocate you buy my products and attend my workshops, of course. But I'm the first one to tell you that I'm still working on my $1 million idea. But the trend that I notice is that how many of them don't last. You know, they don't walk their talk. They're in it for the quick buck, and then they're gone. And so I noticed that a lot of them seem to be coming from fear, that they feel like there's only enough for them and that there's not enough left in the world for anybody else, and they don't survive. So Lyn-Dee and I are going to be chatting a little bit about what a scarcity mentality is and what an abundance prosperous attitude is. Sorry, I must have put on the wrong mouth this morning. I'm stumbling over myself. But anyway, Lyn-Dee, are you there, darling?
I'm here. I'm very much here, and I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, good, good, good. You know, for those of my listeners who, you know, didn't listen in July, although I can't believe there are any of them, but for those people that didn't listen in July, would you tell a little bit about your background and how you've gotten to be who you are?
I sure will. You know, I'm originally from New York. I lived in South Florida for 33 years, and now I'm up in the New Hampshire area. I've lived here for 6 years. And my past is pretty dark. When I was raised, I came from an abusive background. I was a sibling of 3. I was the youngest, and I was abused. I was abused by all of my family members. And then when I grew up, I was 18 years old, and I got married, and I entered into an abusive relationship again. At the age of 25, I gave birth to an absolutely beautiful baby girl, and when she was 15 months old, it didn't take me long to realize that I did not want her to be brought up in this environment, nor did I want to keep carrying on the trend. So I got divorced from my abusive husband, and many, many years later, and I do mean many years later, I was able to write a book in regards to my past, which is called Tears of Fears Behind Closed Doors. And it's not a woe's me book. As a matter of fact, it's to inspire everybody that no matter what they've ever been through, that they can accomplish greatness. And so that's what my book is all about. I share my experience with you, and then I also help you to get out of an abusive relationship and look into the light and realize that there's a better part of you and to hold no regrets and have grudges. Well, during my life, because of everything that I've been through, I basically became a very diversified woman. And becoming a very diversified woman, there wasn't anything out there that if I wanted to do and somebody was willing to train me, I said, I'm your gal. If you're willing to teach me, I'm a hands-on kind of a person, and this is something that I really want to do, and I did the best that I could do. So with that, over the years, I became a motivational speaker, I became an author, and I became a coach. Now, when you talk about authenticity, and you'll have to excuse me because I've got a cold going on today, but I'm going to give you everything that I've got despite of. But when you're talking about people being real and true, I couldn't agree with you more. And over the years, I have accomplished great things, and it's only because of everything that I've been through, everything that I've accomplished. And because of everything that I've accomplished, I've been able to reach out and speak in front of audiences that consist of 5,000, that consist of one. I coach many, many people on to become the best that they can be. And, you know, there's one way to find out if a person is real and true, and that's researching them. So if you're looking to better yourself and to follow the great leaders and you're really admiring somebody, Google them. Google them and find out, in fact, are they everything that they say that they are? Are they doing everything? Are they walking the walk? Are they talking the talk? And I'm here to tell you that today I have a very, very successful life. Thank you to everybody. I owe that to everybody out there that has allowed me to be a part of their lives. And so I've got great success. I've got a great home life. 20 years after I divorced my abused husband, you know, I was the type of woman that said, you know what, I will never get married again. I'm never going to put myself in that position again. And it's not that I didn't believe in relationships. I just didn't believe in that full commitment anymore because I felt that once you made that commitment that people would try to control you. So I wasn't really, you know, going to go down that road again. But here goes 20 years later, and I met a gentleman who was very, very sincere and true and real. And when I looked at him and I started to get to know him and people that knew him, I saw that he was real. And he was definitely somebody who I wanted to share my life with. So lo and behold, I'm married again. And it's only because I found the real, true person who I wanted to be with, who I wanted to share my life with. And I share that with you because no matter what it is that you have been through in your life, no matter what it is that you want to excel in life, if you find the right partner to partner up with, and it doesn't mean only relationships, that could be in business and it could be in personal, then you've put yourself in the right place. But if you're with somebody or with a company or with anything that is fake and that is not exactly what they seem to be on the outside, you're in for a fall. And I don't want that to happen to anybody. As a matter of fact, if everybody would go to my website, which is www.Lyn-Dee.com, I put a lot of great affirmations out there. And when I write a blog or when I do anything, whether it's write a book or whether it's, you know, inspire others on stage, the biggest compliment that I get from people is, number one, they could feel that I'm real and they feel my passion. And that's very powerful. So when
you don't have anything on you know, to do on passion. I mean, you're not passionate about what you do, are you?
No, not at all. But you know, I have to tell. Yeah, and then teaming up with people like you, Deborah, who we have never met in person, but we've communicated several times. We've consulted each other several times, and we both understand what it's like to have nothing, and now we know what it's like to build something. And, you know, I'm like you. You know, yes, you know, the good Lord has blessed me with making a good deal of money, you know, financially, and I'm pretty much set, and I'm happy, but have I really accomplished everything that I want? No. And to boot, I'll share with everybody that Mrs. Lyn-Dee Eldridge goes to seminars. I'm constantly being coached. I'm constantly looking for those people that I admire, that I have done research on, that are absolutely the true meaning of a leader, and I attach myself to them. So you never, ever become on that plateau where, number one, you're better than anybody else, because I will never, ever be the best of anything. There's always going to be somebody that's better than I am that I can learn from. But, again, because of everything that I've been through in the past and because of all the times that I've been, that people have come off as something and which, in fact, they're not, I'm very careful of who I choose to, number one, associate with, number two, follow their lead. And when I do the research. I go to Google. I want to see what they're all about. I go to their website, and I go and I dig deep. And the Internet today is, so savvy.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have that back then in the day, Well,
no.
Now you do. Now you can literally research anybody that you want to make sure that they're the real McCoy, and you don't buy into their products which in fact is just dust on their shelves that they're trying to get rid of.
Yep.
So
I wish I'd had that 20 years, and starting to follow these people. If I'd been able to dig into their background then, I probably could have saved myself quite a bit of money.
And you're probably right. But hold no regrets or grudges of what you've been through because you've learned how to do it the right way.
Exactly.
And
that's one of the things that I really push in my workshops, is my mother raised me that she used to tell me, just remember, you are no better than anybody else and nobody's any better than you. You are all the same. Some people have just been here longer and learned more. And, that's the thing, is I treat everybody who comes to my workshops as a partner, not as a customer or a mark or, something like that. And I'm sure you do the same thing.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about. It's joining each other as a team and not having people look at you like they can't do what you do. Everybody can do what you and I do. Are they willing, though, to do what it takes to do what we do? And there's the difference.
That's the defining difference, yeah, definitely.
That's huge. I mean, I could go to all the seminars that I could possibly go to, but if I'm not willing to do what has to be done to get to where they are and to get to where I want to be, and I expected, okay, well, I went to a seminar and tomorrow everything is going to change. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. So for everybody out there, I've been very blessed. I'm now speaking in colleges and universities, and I'm going out to schools, and I'm going out to companies, and I'm really making a difference, a powerful impact on people. But you know what? When I'm at these events, I get back so much because of what I'm giving out. I'm able to grow inside. And the next time I do an event, it gets better and better and better. And you learn from your mistakes and you learn from your errors. And there are people out there that feel for whatever reason that until they have this perfected, they cannot go out there and walk the walk and do the do. You're wrong. You've got to make your mistakes along the way. You've got to have those no's. You've got to have those hang-ups. And then because those hang-ups, when you hang up from that call or whatever the case may be, you're going to say, oh, my God, I never should have said yada, 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 which means you're never going to say that again. So the next call is going to be more of an open door for you because you've learned from your mistakes. So for everybody, go ahead.
I was going to say, my guest last week was Stefan Stavrakis, and he spent a whole hour talking about how, the thing that stops people more than is they think that they have to be able to know everything there is to know on how to do it right before they do anything. And there's just no way to do things perfect the first time. It has to be a learning process. It has to be that you've got to practice at it. I mean, I do a lot of cold calling. I mean, a lot of people really hate to get on the phone and call people they don't know. But I do a lot of it. I really enjoy it. But my first 5 calls suck. I mean, they just stink. And, of course, I don't get any response. Mm-hmm. But by the time I hit about the 5th call, it's like, yeah, I've got this to where I can let go of what it is that I'm calling about. I've got the script down in my head. I don't like to go off of a script. I like to talk to the person. But I've got the facts and figures all planted now, and I can just be myself, and it always goes a lot better.
Mm-hmm. It's true, and I applaud you. 5, and you already get appointments. It takes me a lot longer, at times.
Oh, I didn't say I get appointments. I just get better at calling.
There's a lot of times, and let's talk about persistency. There's a right way to be persistent, and there's a wrong way to be persistent. And as long as you're friendly and you keep going on a relationship that could at least just like nudge that door, I can't tell you how many times that I get, I'm not interested, and all I say to them is, you know what, that's okay. hopefully I'll come up with a topic one day that maybe you will be interested in it. Is it okay if I keep you informed?
Yeah, yep. And that's all you can ask for.
That's all you can ask for. And I laugh at myself sometimes, and I'll even say to the person that I'm talking to on the phone, you know what, I really screwed up on this call, and I apologize. Can I start over? And if they tell me no, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Can I keep you informed with what's going on in my life and how I think I could help you and your company or you and your foundation in the future? Mm-hmm. And they're like, sure. And I send out holiday cards, and I send out thank yous, and, for those that have allowed me into their universe, I send them out little trinkets. And it's not because I'm trying to buy them. That's my way of showing my appreciation. And it's also my way of me always staying in the back of their mind.
Yep, definitely. It's amazing. Snail mail is actually the best kept secret around anymore. Mm-hmm. It used to be everybody did everything by mail. And now everything has moved to the internet and email and all that. And when you get a thank you card in your mailbox, it's a big event. It's really nice.
Yeah.
And so I tend to do that too. So let's just switch gears here for a second. Let's just talk a little bit about what scarcity mentality is, and we'll get to abundance mentality in a minute. To me, scarcity mentality is where you don't see anything more for yourself, and you sit in whatever it is that isn't working. And you do that because, one, there isn't anything better out there, or you tell yourself there isn't, or you tell yourself that there isn't enough to go around. I don't know if out there you've heard businesses that are, don't go to my competitor, don't do this, don't do that, because mine is the only way. It's not the only way. It's one of the ways. Or if I leave this relationship or business or place that you're living or family or whatever, that you'll be alone and abandoned and unhappy. Or the best one for me is that if I let people see who I really am, they won't like me and they won't buy anything from me, or they won't talk to me. Now that goes back to what you were just saying, Lyn-Dee, about, when you screw up on a call, you're not afraid to say, I really screwed this one up. Can I start over or whatever? It makes you more human. And people, what I've been noticing is that people are unwilling to be human beings in relationships with other people. Human beings make mistakes. Human beings don't get it right sometimes. And that, when you believe that there isn't enough out there for you, or for me, I've also come from abusive relationships. And a lot of times I was sitting in there going, well, if I don't have this one, there isn't anything better out there. This is the best I can hope for, and it's better than being alone, which is, horse feathers, for lack of a better term. And there is something better out there, and there's always something better out there. Every day that you open your eyes and you are in a better world, and you have the opportunity to create something better every second of every day, and you don't have to hold on to the past because all you've got is now. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. There are choices, and there are a lot of choices. You could choose to wake up during the day. If you're a stay-at-home mom, or you don't have a job, you're unemployed, you could choose to sit in front of the television and allow that dramatic drama eat you up alive. That's your choice. And you're right. If you choose to do that, your days are never going to be any better. That's a choice.
Yep.
But if you choose to wake up every morning, get up, take a shower like if you were going to work, put on a little makeup, and for the gentleman, just, put on a nice shirt and, comb your hair. Just feel good, feel presentable when you look in the mirror. You can and will be able to accomplish, but you too could be your own worst enemy, and it's all choices. People, it's like a good cooking recipe is sometimes how I like to describe it. Did you ever go to somebody's house and the dish that they put out was absolutely unbelievable, and you ask them for the recipe, and they decide to give you the recipe, but they leave out an ingredient? And it doesn't have to be the main ingredient, but they leave out an ingredient. So when you go home to make it, you fail because they've left out an ingredient. That's called being selfish. It's called being, why would anybody do that? Again, just like you said, it's that scarcity mentality. They're afraid that for whatever reason, your dish is going to come out better. People may want to eat at your house instead of their house. Well, the world is a very big place. It's a small world, but it's a very, very big place for you to be able to share, for you to be able to accept information. So you could help people excel. When you help others excel and others help you excel, all it does is open up more opportunity for more people to become more than they ever dreamed that they can be. But if you're following somebody who's going to hold back that one ingredient, then you need to let go of that person. If you're that person that's holding back on that ingredient, you're being selfish. You're not really being that true person who you said you were in the first place. When anybody comes to my home and they eat at my house and they want a recipe, I give it. Yes, they associate with the same people I do, but I'm just so, what a compliment that somebody actually wants to copy something that I'm doing. So again, if you're following somebody that's not giving you the full recipe of how to accomplish things in your life, then you need to follow somebody else. If you find that you're doing everything that that person is telling you to do, and they're true, and they didn't leave out any ingredient, then possibly you just need to go back to them and say, I've really given it all I have, and for whatever reason, I'm not excelling. When that happens and people come to me, I tell them that it's time for you to shadow me. It's time for you to either sit in my office with me so you could see exactly how I do it, what my tone is, how I do things, because if you're following everything that I ask you to do and that I've shared with you to do to the T, and you're not having the success you want, then there's just something that we have to tweak.
Yeah.
It happens to me. So if I feel that I'm, trying to do things, I'm trying to accomplish things, I'm not getting to where I want to be, but yet I know I'm working very hard and very passionate on following the step-by-step process, and there wasn't an ingredient left out, I call up the person, I call up that leader and say, for the last so-and-so days, I've really been doing everything that you asked me to do, that you told me to do, that you shared with me, and I'm just not having success. I don't understand it. And guess what? If they're long distance, they tell me to shadow them on the phone. So I'm on a three-way, my phone is on mute, and I'm hearing literally their rhythm, and then I'm like, I get it. That's the missing part.
Well, I can't tell you how many people I've asked, over the last couple of years, cool, they send me a copy of their book, or they send me their CDs and stuff, and it's like, cool, who printed your book? And how did you get, did you get a good deal on it? How many copies, and just asking them the nuts and bolts of how they did something that they did. And it's unbelievable to me how many people will say, why do you want to know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's obvious that they're coming from scarcity, that if I know what they know, then I'm going to do the same thing they did. Well, here's the thing that occurs to me. Now, I'm, part of what I've done in the past also is my husband and I have a hand-dye clothing company. We do tie-dye. And I can stand side by side with him, do exactly what he's doing, in the way that he's doing it, And my stuff will come out completely different than his stuff because my take on how tight to tie a shirt or how thickly to put the dye on or whatever is just that little bit different. And it's my way. And he does things his way. And what a lot of people don't seem to get when they're afraid that you're going to do what they do is that you can't. There is no way because you don't come from where they've come from to get to where they're doing what they're doing. You can come close, and then you can make it yours. But there really is no way to take anything away from anybody unless they take it away from themselves. And that's for me is the real scarcity mentality, is when it's coming from fear that you're going to take something away from them, even though that's actually impossible. Mm-hmm. So then the other side of that coin is the abundance mentality. And that's where you know on a cellular level that what's going on is completely perfect, just as it is for what I call your planifest, which is your plan manifesting. You know, you've asked for things, and there is a plan that goes into it, whether it's a conscious plan or not. So, you know, you can think of things like wherever you are, if it isn't working for you, okay, it's just temporary, and you just got to get through it, but there's something greater coming up. That's abundance mentality. And thinking that there's plenty to go around, so it's perfectly okay to share what you can to help others and to be yourself. I mean, I just spent the last 3 days helping out. I went up to house sit for a friend of mine. Pure and simple. Nothing involved. You know, come feed my fish and my cats. I've got this, that, and the other thing to do. I said, fine, no problem. When I got up there, she was running around crazy because they're putting on this event this Saturday called Word Camp Seattle. And, oh, my God, people had you know, there'd been a communications mix-up, and nobody had provided any sponsors to provide food for 250 people. Now, she was just, you know, tearing her hair out because she's one of the major presenters, and she has that to do and that to do and that to do. And taking on going to find a food sponsor at this late date was not something that she had the time to do or whatever. And so I said, can I help? And so for the last 3 days, I've been talking to companies, trying to talk them into sponsoring, you know, for providing food for these people or cash or whatever. And I have been so blessed because so many people have come forward and stepped up to the plate and said, yeah, I'll help. And what do you need? And how can I do this? And I think that if you come from selflessness and putting yourself out there, how can I help? Other people understand that you're coming from, I'm trying to help these guys, not from any personal agenda. And that brings them to a stage of being able to say, well, I want to help. I want to be a hero. I want to come to the rescue. And then it calls selflessness in them. You know, another thing is to understand that sometimes you have bumpy roads. I mean, nobody's life is perfect. Nobody has smooth sailing from the minute that they get born till the minute that they leave this place. There are always going to be road bumps, and that's okay, you know. And the last thing that I want to say is, you know, if you share yourself genuinely and authentically, that if you let people see who you really are without artifice and without any sort of drama or construct, they'll either like you or they won't. But that's not up to you. They're going to like you or they won't, no matter what you do, because it's on them. It's not on you. So you may as well be yourself and enjoy yourself instead of trying to always be what other people want you to be. That goes back to the autopilot thing, you know. I ought to be this kind of person because that's what this person, 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 this deal with it. Don't you think?
I couldn't agree with you more. You know, there's a few people that I keep reaching out to, and the door used to be opened, and all of a sudden communication has stopped, and I just don't know why. I just can't, you know, and you do a rewind, and you play back, okay, what happened to this person? What happened to our relationship? How did I offend them? And I try to go back, and I think about, you know, what did I do that I closed this door? And I'll reach out to them, and I'll email them, or I'll shout out at them, and I'll say, hey, you know what, I understand that somehow or another something's happened to our relationship, and I've offered my speaking engagements to you, and you haven't even responded to emails. I understand that you don't want, you know, me to be a part of your organization, but just to clear my head, can you tell me why? So I could be a better person. So whatever I've done, I'm not going to do it again. And I'll even go as far as saying, you know what, I apologize. I'll even do an advanced apology if I offended you in any way because I truly did not mean to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I reach out to people because I don't like to hurt anybody, but I am human, and not everybody in the world is going to like Lyn-Dee Eldridge, and not everybody in the world is going to want me a part of their team, their organization, in front of their company, or whatever the case may be. But if you always just And that's not going to make me change the kind of person I am, but it may help me change the action of how I went ahead and I handled something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure does. It definitely does.
You know, because for the first time in a very, very long time, can truly look in the mirror and say, I like you. I like who you are, and I like what you put out there in the universe, and I like the people that I'm attracted to, and I like the people that are being attracted to me. But we all have room for improvement. So look in the mirror and realize that, number one, you don't have to change yourself 100%. You do have to be you. You are who you are, but we all make errors. And if somebody would just come forward and say, you know what, Lyn-Dee, the other day, this is how you came off. Maybe I was having a bad day. Maybe I didn't mean to, and maybe I did mean to. You know, I don't know, but I can't improve myself. So unless people that have closed off from me tell me why they've closed off from me.
Exactly.
Because I'm an analyzer. When it comes to my personality, when it comes to doing what I want to get done, if there's a closed door, I dig for the answer of why is that door closed. And if it's something that I could improve on, I do. And if it's something that I can't and that's just the way it is and we just butted heads because you cannot get along with everybody in the universe, then that's okay too. But, you know, if you're that kind of person that says, oh, my God, you know, there's nothing that I could offer that person, everybody has something that they could offer somebody. But we don't have something that we could offer everybody. And people have got to understand that. You know, that's just the way it is. And you said be true to yourself. Be true to who you are. I couldn't agree with you more. In today's world, because of everything that's happened, you know what? People want to see who are you really. And if you come off as a pompous ass, then that's exactly what you are. You are a pompous ass. And if people aren't associating with you, the kind of people that you really want to associate with you, then it's time for you to look in the mirror and say what is going on and maybe go back to those people and say, what is it that I did that turned you off so badly that makes you not want to connect with me? You know?
And ask for feedback, and, you know, some people will be, you know, if you've got a big personality in the first place, like I know both of us do, some people are really intimidated, and they may just say, oh, nothing. But, you know, the thing is that you've got to let your ego go, and you've got to say, no, really, I really respect you, and I want to know if I've done anything. because the only person that's going to be able to change anything in me is me.
Mhm.
And if I've done something to you, believe me, I didn't mean to. And how am I going to change it for the next time?
Sure.
Please, I want the feedback.
Yeah, give
And
me
be
give me a
coachable.
second chance. And if you don't want a second chance, just say, well, you know what? This is why I respond the way that I do, and maybe it's better if we don't have a relationship, but at least you understand what happened. And as long as you're open-minded and you're willing to say, you know, is this the kind of person that I do want to be able to associate with? Then what did I do that upset that person so I never do it again? Or you're a pompous ass, and this is why I acted the way I did to you. And you could do whatever, but I'm a very firm believer that you should always keep all of your doors open. Now let me just address one other thing, is that there are a lot of people that will want to go ahead and they will want to attach themselves to me, which is awesome. And I will go ahead and I will educate them and I will give them my intelligent know-how of how to go ahead and how to accomplish things. But then you have people that are always just full of excuses, one thing after another. Well, I can't do this, and I couldn't do this, and well, I was going to do it, but I didn't do it, and da-da-da. Don't waste my time, because I also can't afford to be dragged down. But
I hate the word because.
Oh.
I absolutely detest that word. It's like, did you do this? No. Why? Because. And it's like, okay, you either did it or you didn't do it. And if there is a real why that was outside your control, I want to hear about it.
Right.
But I don't want to hear, well, I overslept, or I missed the bus, or because this, because that, because no.
You know, there are many things that I have done in life. Many things that I have done in life. One of the things that I've accomplished greatness with is multi-level marketing, as long as I believed in the product. And the company that I'm involved in with multi-level marketing, it's because I believe in the product 110%. And when somebody goes to shadow me and I go out there and I'm doing the do, and they say, oh, my God, you could do that because you're you. No. I couldn't always do this. I couldn't always cold call. I couldn't always speak to strangers, but I have figured out what's comforting for me and how to approach people. So I'm not saying do exactly what I do. I'm saying shadow me, see how I do it, and then turn it into your personality and do it the way you feel comfortable doing it and have great success. But don't tell me you can't do it. Don't tell me you're not me, and don't whine to me that you can't have the success that I'm having, because I also had to learn how to do what I'm showing you to do and to step out of my comfort zone. This was, nothing that I have ever accomplished in my life was I born to do. Or I shouldn't say that. I was born to do it, because that's why I'm so passionate and my mission, because I love to help people. But what I'm saying is that when I was born, I wasn't educated with how to do what I was born to do. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So
exactly. Somebody had to show you how. In
some
case,
so if you're looking to accomplish greatness, hang out with true greatness and follow what they're doing. Turn it into your own personality, and you will succeed, because people will feel your passion. You can excel at everything and anything in life as long as you are willing to take the steps that it takes to do what it takes to get the success that you want. That could be in relationships, that could be in business, and that could be in anything. I meet several people, and I talk to several people pretty much on a weekly basis. Abused. Let's talk about, the abused soul. Because I was abused, because I put my book out there. I constantly get either their emails, or I get phone calls, or whatever the case may be, and I tell them, I said, you know what, it is truly one step at a time. And when you are ready, when you are truly ready to do what you have to do to get out of the relationship, to become a better you will know that. And there isn't anybody in this world to tell you that you cannot do it. But here's what I know. You can't stay in you can stay in touch with me, but you can't keep calling me. I've got one lady, God bless her soul. I've been in touch with her now for a year, and she's just not willing to do the simple, easy steps to slowly get out of where she is.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
it is difficult.
It's very hard.
Nobody's going to say that it's easy. It isn't. But there's this phenomenal phrase, and I know that you'll love this. I mean, I am such a word freak anyway. But I had a friend many years ago who had this phrase, and it always comes back to me, that when you get to the point where something happens, and that thing is the one thing, ready, up with which you will not put, then you will take steps. But as long as you're willing to put up and shut up, things won't get any better.
Exactly. And I am here. Yeah, I am here for everybody, and I'm always here for everybody. But there has to come a time. You're obviously sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's obvious.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, you're not willing to take those little steps to find who you need to find to give you the strength to move forward. Now, I'm only one person. I tell all abused people, you have an 800 hotline out there. Keep calling until you could find somebody that you could connect that's going to make that switch go off to say, you know what? You're right. Today's the day. I've had enough. There are enough safe houses out there. There are enough places to go for everybody, regardless of what's going in your life. There's other places for you to go to get the help and the advice and the security that you need to get you out of whatever it is that you're in.
And you can do it. I mean, some people they're starting to believe the person that's I don't necessarily want to call them the abuser, but I guess that's the best term. Whoever it is that's keeping them down is telling them that they'll never be able to amount to anything away from them or have a life or find a decent place or who'd want them or any one of a million different things. And as long as they buy into that crap, they're going to stay where they are. But what they need to do is look inside themselves, take inventory of what they do have to offer. And it's not easy, but you have to take that first step. And sometimes it's reaching out to somebody and then follow through. I've had a lot of people, too, that knowing my background will come to me going, well, you did this. How did you do that? And I said, well, you just kind of step out and one day say, I'm not going to put up with this anymore, and you leave. Oh, I could never leave. You have to leave. Oh, but I just want to fix it where I am. I don't want to leave this. And it's like, you have to leave. That's the first step, is that you've got to get out of the situation you're in or you're going to stay in it.
I was abused for 26 years of my life. I was told I'm a nobody, I'm no good, I'm not pretty enough, yada, yada, yada. I've heard it all because everybody hears the same thing with just different faces and different names. But abuse is abuse, and that's the bottom line. Like I said, there's going to come a time, there's going to come something that's just going to go click, and you're going to say, you know what, I don't need this anymore. And deep down inside, you know you're a wonderful person. You know you've got everything. You know you're gifted in so many different ways, but because of everything that you've heard, whether it's been all your life or a certain part of your life or whatever the case may be, you're allowing that to brainwash you and to fog what you really do understand and know about yourself. And I've spoken to many people that are in a relationship or that they're at work, and everybody is being held back one way or the other. Whether, their spouses saying, you're not allowed to go out, you're not allowed to wear this, you're not allowed to drive anywhere, and you're not allowed, you're not allowed, you're not allowed. And if you're at work, you have a boss that's saying, if you do this, you're going to get fired. And if you do this, you're going to get fired. And if you don't do it this way, you're going to get fired. You know, there has to come a time, because life is so short, there's got to come a time, and it's got to be quickly, that you stand up and say, bullshit, I'm not taking this anymore. And then you need to follow the step-by-step advice to get out of where you are safely.
Yep.
So you're not going to get hurt. But there are ways. You know, I remember not only was I abused for 26 years, but I also remember working for this one character, I won't name the company, who was so abusive, I just couldn't believe it. I remember him coming into my office and him slamming like a ruler, like the old nuns did in Catholic school.
Yep.
And he came and he just like slammed the ruler down on my desk, and he started yelling at me. Now, this was like 5 minutes after I got to work. And I looked at him and I says, you know what? I really feel sorry for you. What? You know what I did? I ended up calling corporate. And I ended up telling on him, which for months I didn't do, because I didn't think I could do that. Well, needless to say, I lost my job. Okay, they did fire me. Now, could I have sued? I could have definitely sued. I could have really taken this company for the cleaners. But instead of doing that, I needed to go and find someplace else that was going to appreciate me for what I could do for them.
Yep.
But in return, I got this joker fired so he could never do it to anybody else again. So you just got to
I wish I could have done that.
You know, so you just have to be brave enough to say, I'm not going to take this anymore. And you don't even have to say it out loud. You could say that to yourself, but then realize that there are steps to get out of where you are. You know, my book, you know, it was a blessing. When I wrote my book, it was very hard because it was taking me back to my dark days. So it was very hard for me to write the book. But once I got it out there and I got it published, and then people started reading it, and people would tell me, Lyn-Dee, I feel like I just read the story about my life. But you've given me the hope, and you've given me the light to be able to get out safely. And I've started doing these small steps, just like you mentioned in your book, to help me get out. And I can't tell you how many women are now out of the relationship. I'm not saying they're not having a hard life. They're not finding it difficult, because a lot of them are saying, I'm struggling so much financially and I'm having such a hard time feeding my kids. But I remember in your book, you said that for a long time you ate peanut butter crackers so your baby could eat chicken. I remember that. And that's what gives me the push to keep going and never going backwards.
Mhm.
So, and I say that because I know what it's like to be scared. I know what it's like to want to hold on to something that you wish was different. But the bottom line is that you have to start being true to yourself, and you have to start reaching out and realizing that the only thing that can make you accomplish things and to make you accomplish greatness are a few things. Number one, make sure that you're listening to people that have been there and done that and are truly been there and done that. Listen to people that have been there, done that, and are now accomplishing so much more in their life, so then this way you one day will be able to also pay it forward because of your experiences. And never hold any regrets or grudges for who you are, but just be careful of who you're following. And I believe that's what we started talking about at the very beginning of the call, is that, you know, that scarcity mentality and who is really, really true. And it's very scary out there because there are so many pretenders out there that are called wannabes and are giving that I'm faking it till I make it, but you don't know they're faking it because they're acting like they're making it, where in fact who is doing the do and who is really succeeding in whatever it is that you're looking to succeed in. That's who I attach myself to. I meet, I greet a lot of people. I go to these phenomenal seminars. I go to great leaders, and I connect myself with other people in the room that have accomplished what I want to accomplish, or that are accomplishing what I want to accomplish, and I call them workout partners because
Yep.
I know they're
Yep.
not going to hold me back. I'm not going to hold them back, and together we're going to grow, we're going to learn, and every time we run into a hurdle, we're going to reach out to that leader, and that leader is going to be so willing to help us because we're really out there doing the do, but we bumped into an obstacle, so we just want to know, how do I jump over this obstacle?
Yeah. I mean, we don't, a lot of times when I have mentors or, advisors, I don't want them to tell me how to do something. From soup to nuts. I want them to tell me, okay, I got this little glitch. How did you get over that glitch when it happened to you? I'll do the work myself.
Exactly.
But there has to be something that they did obviously, whatever it is that I have hit is the same thing that they probably hit before, and they got past it. So how did you do what I need to do?
Exactly. And everybody everybody started in the same place, knowing nothing.
Yep.
Not all of us were built with that golden spoon like, Paris Hilton. But I got to tell you, I am sure that Paris Hilton also, on an everyday basis, has some kind of a hurdle to jump over.
And, her hurdles are not our hurdles, but they're still hurdles.
Exactly. Everybody, no matter if they're very, very wealthy or they're very, very poor, we all have different obstacles, and that's why leaders reach out to leaders that are doers, and they will allow followers to shadow as long as they're willing to do the do and not complain and realize that, yep, they're going to fall, but they're also going to stand up. And they're going to fall, and they're also going to stand up. And that's the difference between the successors and the non-successors. The non-successors are saying, woe's me, and they're watching television all day. The successors, look at Donald Trump. How many times did he go bankrupt?
Yeah.
Several times, right?
Yep.
But because he understands it takes a doer to get back on top, he worked his butt off to get back to where he is. Now, who's to say that he may not fall again? But I could guarantee you something about Donald Trump and all the other successful leaders out there, that at one time they were at the bottom, and they just followed the coaching of somebody to help them get back to where they are today. And they partnered with people that believed in the same beliefs as them and have the same strength as they do, and together they walked side by side, and they jumped over hurdles together.
It's kind of, the other thing, too, is that once you've failed, the F word,
Yeah.
But once you have failed, my dad used to have this phrase, he says, well, if you haven't seen it before, you won't know what it is, and if you have, it shouldn't scare you. Mm-hmm. It's the same kind of thing with failure. If you have failed before, you don't sit and wallow in it if you do it again. It's like, oh, my God, I'm just such a horrible failure. Look at me. I was up on top. Now I'm down on the bottom. Oh, woe is me. Oh, baloney. Get off your ass and get out there. And you've done it before. You know you could get up and do things. So do it.
Sure.
And you sit, and it takes less and less time. You go, oh, here I am again. All right. Let's see. Now, what did I do last time that I did first? Okay, yeah. Okay, now it's time to do that again. And it's just, it becomes, instead of a wall that stops you, it just becomes a speed bump, and you just step over it and keep going. Pick yourself up, dust off your butt, and go.
Exactly.
And that's the way, that's the way you have. So, Webby, tell us again how people can get in touch with you.
You could all please go to my website. That's www.lyn-dee.com.